Welcome to the College Investor Audio Show, where we talk about the biggest issues impacting millennial money, from student loan debt to side hustles to building wealth. We will show you how to get out of debt so that you can build real wealth for the future.
Just kind of switching gears a little bit today on the College Investor Audio Show, talking about something that is really tough to talk about, but I think is really needed. Suicide and student loan debt. This is a sentence I received recently in a letter. The only way I see myself escaping my student loan debt is to kill myself. I'm just going to read that again. The only way I see myself escaping my student loan debt is to kill myself. Reading that sentence really gets me a little bit emotional. I can sense the pain. I can feel the despair in the words. It creates this tightness in my chest, and maybe yours too. Trying to hold back some tears thinking about what that means. You can sense the burden that is on her shoulders, thinking that the only way out is to end her life. Isn't that the most horrible thing you've heard? You want to know something, though? I've read that sentence twice this year talking to readers and listeners here on this site. And the truth is that there are many more people out there than the two readers that reached out to me. People that we haven't necessarily connected with. But maybe we find that today's podcast and feel a little bit of weight lifted off of their shoulders. I hope so. Let's talk. By the way, this podcast and the blog related to it is part of the 4th annual Suicide Prevention Awareness month-long blog tour. If you are feeling suicidal, please call the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline at 1-800-273-8255 or text the word HOME to 741-741. That's HOME, 741-741. The first point I want to make is that suicide is not the answer. It makes things much, much worse. So I'm going to be straight with you on 2 levels. First, the emotional level, and then second, the factual money level. Suicide is never the answer because there are countless people who love and depend on you. Your mom and dad, brothers and sisters, maybe you have kids. I know that today you think you're going to do them all a service by taking away a burden. But I promise you, you being gone will be 1,000 times a burden and will cause more pain and sorrow than you could ever even imagine. No amount of money is worth your life. You can live with student loan debt. You can smile with student loan debt. You can play with your kids with student loan debt. Ending your life is not the answer. There are countless ways to deal with your student loan debt, and there are countless people that can help you navigate the confusing and frustrating world that is student loan debt. But that's gone if you take your life. And you think you're possibly making life a little bit easier on your family financially. Well, I'm here to tell you, please, it doesn't. And here's why. Number 1, your family is never on the hook for your federal student loans. Only you are. So you're not a burden to them financially at all. 2, however, if you do have a cosigner on your student loans, like 90% of private loans today, if you die, your cosigner, typically a parent, will still have to pay that debt. So in situation number 1 with federal loans, you're not a burden. It might seem tough for you today, but you're not impacting anyone else. In situation number 2, if you die and have private student loans, your parents still owe the debt. And with you gone, how are they going to pay for it? You're really leaving them with a burden that didn't exist before. How to get help with your student loan debt. Now let's talk about some hope that you have. We're going to talk about your loans for a second because we know that they are the driving factor of your despair. Being burdened with a debt that you don't think you can ever repay is crippling. We understand that you can feel like your debt is absolutely suffocating you, both mentally and physically. When you're deep in debt and feel like you have no chance of paying it back, and the phone is ringing with collectors, and you're getting mail, it's a dark time. But there are several ways to get help for your student loans. Just follow this simple action plan. Here's step number 1. Call your lender. Too many people are afraid to call their lender, but what nobody seems to realize is that student loans are owned by the government and managed by student loan servicing companies. These companies are paid for managing the loans, including by helping borrowers stay current. They are actually there to help you, believe it or not. It's a call center. And yes, you might get a rep that's not very helpful, but many are, and most will be able to point you in the right direction. Step 2, immediate relief with deferment or forbearance. If you simply need relief right now and can't make a payment, ask for a deferment or a forbearance. This will allow you to not make payments for a certain amount of time. You don't want to do this for too long, but because your loan balance actually will continue to grow. But it might help for the time being. Step 3, get on an income-based repayment plan. This is huge. These are the best repayment plans for federal student loans if you're struggling. They will make your payments 10 to 15% of your monthly income or less if you're close to or even below the poverty line in your state. So if you have no income, your monthly payment will be $0. And that $0 per month payment counts towards student loan forgiveness. That's a win-win situation right there. If you have private loans, there are less options, but there are still things you can do to get help. Some lenders offer programs very similar to income-based repayment and deferment. You can also look at refinancing your loan, which could lower your monthly payment. We break down all the options for private student loans. We have a link at thecollegeinvestor.com. And please make sure you avoid these common student loan scams. We also have those laid out for you at thecollegeinvestor.com as well. Because when you're the most desperate for help, that's when people and companies can prey on you. It's easy to become a victim when you're already hurting inside. We're here to help. Here's where to find someone to talk to or get help for a friend. If you or someone you know is struggling, please reach out to a counselor. If you or someone you know is talking about wanting to die or kill themselves, feeling hopeless or like they have no reason to live, feeling trapped or having unbearable pain, or think they are a burden to others, please reach out for help. You can call this hotline and talk to someone 24 hours a day, 1-800-273-TALK. 800-273-8255. If you see a post on social media, don't ignore it. All of the major social media sites include ways to help a friend in need. On Facebook, you can anonymously report someone as suicidal on Facebook. A member of Facebook's safety team will send the user an email with the Lifeline number and maybe even a link to chat with a Lifeline counselor. Twitter. You can select self-harm to send an email to Twitter reporting a suicidal user. Twitter will send the user a direct message with the Lifeline number. MySpace. You can click on Report Abuse that appears at the bottom of every MySpace page and complete the form. MySpace will send an email to the MySpace user with the Lifeline number. YouTube. To report suicidal content, click on the flag icon under a video and select Harmful, Dangerous Acts and then Suicide or Self-Injury. YouTube will then review the video and may send a message to the user that uploaded the video with the Lifeline number. Here are some other resources you might find helpful too. The American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, Project CNQR, Open Path Collective, Debtors Anonymous. And you can chat 24/7 at remedylive.com to someone who cares and wants to listen to you as well. remedylive.com is another one. Here's another thing you can do. Check your local college to see if their graduate program in counseling offers discounted sessions too. Remember this, please. You're not alone with your student loan debt. But no matter how you're feeling about your debt, your friends and family need you. And they care about you more than you could ever realize. If you think this podcast or the article along with it at thecollegeinvestor.com can help somebody you know, please share this on social, but not for me, not for us here. just for someone who is suffering in silence. This podcast, this article might help them. You don't want to learn about it after it's too late. Please, share as you see fit. All the resources and links, thecollegeinvestor.com.